Hello?
Yes, hello.
Okay. I can hear you as well.
Okay.
I think we can begin. But first, did you manage to get your bank statement?
Not no. I sent I called Stan chat, then I was told to do everything online. So I'm just waiting for them to send it to my email. I was told in fact I sent it last night. I was told that I'll get it within 24 hours. So I'm still waiting for that. But I've managed to verify my identity, my ID.
For both of them?
Yeah, no, for Hotforex, yes, and for just Forex, yes, both of them. So just what is my address remaining?
Okay. Okay, that's good then. Okay, so I think for that you understand the steps, so you just do what's left, which is the address.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Then for investing.com, did it finish downloading?
Yes, yes, I downloaded that.
Okay. Okay, then I think you can begin. From what I understood yesterday, you're not a complete beginner when it comes to trading, yeah?
No, no, it's not a complete video.
Okay. In the past, what type of forex have you been looking at? I'm guessing technical analysis.
Yes, yes. That's the one I started with. Like that was before I had in fact that time I was just trying it out.
I see. So you know what lots are, what pips are, leverage, what everything is, the basics, the terms and definitions.
Yeah, yeah, but not I've forgotten. In fact, I've just forgotten. I can't say I remember everything.
Okay. Okay, that's fine. We'll be going through them as throughout the lesson.
Okay.
Yeah. But have you ever placed a trade before? Did you place a trade?
Yes, I have. With a demo account.
Oh, I see. Okay. Okay. That's good enough. I think we can begin. So in the by the way, I'm recording this session just like yesterday. So when we're done, I'll
Yeah.
put my YouTube channel, then I'll send you a link.
Oh, all right.
Okay. Yeah. So in the package that you paid for, it comes with two strategies. So the first strategy we're going to be going through is the easiest NB. I hope you can see my screen.
Yeah, yeah, I can see it.
Okay. Yeah, the first strategy is the easiest NB. Now this one is the least effective strategy amongst the two strategies. This one is considered to be an entry-level strategy. It's just for beginners and it's easy to execute, kind of. It is not as taxing as the other one. So this is the easiest NB. This one only requires one account when it comes to executing it. So you can either use Hotforex alone or just Forex alone. That's up to you to decide which account to use. Then when it comes to placing the trades for this one, you're going to be placing one buy stop and one sell stop. Are you familiar with what buy stops and sell stops are?
Yes, yes, I am.
Okay, what's your understanding of what they are?
A buy stop is like a trade that you put more like once it hits if for example that trade is a buy, then once it hits it's take profit, it will open, then if it hits its stop loss, it will close.
Okay, yeah, that's basically it. Except instead of it hitting the take profit to begin, it hits a certain point that you specify in the order.
Okay.
Yeah. So there's three. Okay, I'll show you when we reach the MetaTrader for part of the course. But anyway, yeah, you've gotten the basics. So it's basically a future trade that you're going to be placing. So for a buy stop, you wait for price to reach a certain point, then your broker is going to buy for you. Then a sell stop is just basically the opposite. So for this strategy, you're going to be placing both of those. So you place one buy stop and one sell stop. Now, the reason why this strategy is less effective than the other one is because you're basically giving away 10 pips. So what this means is if price is at $1 right now, you're only going to enter the trade after it has gone 10 pips above $1. So for those 10 pips, you're basically giving it away. That's why it's less effective than the other strategy. That one doesn't give out any pips. So yeah, for the buy stop, you're going to put the order 10 pips away. Then for the sell stop, you're going to do the same, which will be 10 pips below the current price. So yeah, that's basically the easiest ND. Do you have any questions for him?
No.
Okay. This strategy, actually both of them, what you're supposed to, okay, you know what? I think let me first cover the part for investing.com. Then we can dive deeper into when to execute the trades. But for now, just keep in mind that when placing the trades, you place them 1 minute before the news event happens. So you have to be quick when it comes to placing the buy stops and the sell stops. I'll explain why as we go on. So yeah, that's the easiest MB strategy. Now for this strategy, there's a list of news events that we choose to trade it with. For a news event, what's your understanding of what a news event is?
A news event is some sort of it's news that tells you of the events that are going to happen at a certain period or time.
Okay. So
Yeah.
to dive deeper than that, a news event is just a time when countries release reports of how the economy is doing on a particular date. So like, for example, CAD GDP, they're going to give you, they're going to release documents to the public, or reports rather, telling them how the GDP is doing and how it was and their predictions of where it will be in the future. So if those predictions are good enough, if they're exciting to investors, what's going to happen is people are going to start buying the Canadian dollar in hopes that it's going to perform even better than what they've predicted. So when that happens, it's going to cause fluctuations in the Canadian dollar. So those fluctuations are what we choose to trade as fundamental analysis traders. Now, the funny thing about these times is that the second they're released to the public, price is going to start reacting there and then. It's like people are waiting on their computers, waiting to place buy or sell. Now, all this excitement and all this money that is put into these currencies, that causes currencies to shoot up or down. So the second it's released, price is going to react there and then. So another thing about executing trades is that you have to be quick when it comes to responding to these news events. Yeah. So yeah, for the easiest MB, these are the list of news events that you should be looking out for. Any news events that are not here, you will leave them out. You will not be trading them, specifically for the easiest MB. So what I'll do is I'll send you a screenshot of this that you can use as reference, or if you want, you can master it, which would be better. So yeah, the list includes CAD, GDP, GBP, GDP, there's AUD interest rates, GBP PMI, AUD retail sales, there's Euro interest rates, and GBP interest rates. So yeah, I'll send you a screenshot of this.
Okay.
Do you have any questions?
No.
Okay, good. Okay, moving on to the next strategy. The next one is called the extreme SNB strategy. Now, this one is the most effective one as compared to the easy SNB. This one is a bit more mentally taxing because you have to focus on 2 accounts at the same time. But don't worry, it might be overwhelming in the first few trades, but as you keep going, it will become easier to handle. Yeah, this one requires 2 accounts. So for instance, you'll be trading with Hotforex and Just Forex at the same time. Now, for you who's an iPhone user, you'll be using MetaTrader 4 and MetaTrader 5 at the same time. But for Android users, what I tell them is to duplicate MetaTrader 4. So they'll be handling two MetaTrader 4 applications at the same time. It's just that on iPhone, you can't duplicate apps. So for you guys, you'll be using both MetaTrader 4 and 5 at the same time. That's why you had to create one for MetaTrader 4 and one for MetaTrader 5. You're following?
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, it requires two accounts. So just Forex and Hotforex side by side. The thing about this strategy is that for one account, you are going to be placing a buy, not a buy stop, but a direct buy, where like when you press buy, you'll be active in the trade there and then. You're not waiting for price to reach a certain point. So in one account, you're going to place a buy. Then in the other account, you're going to place the opposite trade, which is a sell. Now, what this does is it's basically hedging the trade for you. So whichever direction price goes, you're almost guaranteed to profit off of one of them. You're following?
Yes.
Okay. So the reason why it's like this is that in case price is a buy, the buy stop is going to be there for you. Or the account where you place the buy, it's going to be there for you. Then if price is a sell, the account where you place the sell trade, it's going to be there for you. So the unpredictability of price direction, that is countered by placing both a buy and a sell. So it doesn't really matter which direction price is going to go. As long as you place both a buy and a sell, you should be fine. You're following?
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, the reason why this is more effective than the easiest NB is because you're entering the trade there and then. You're not giving away the 10 pips that I mentioned earlier. Yeah. Now, 10 pips, it could be a lot when it comes to when you deposit a high amount of a large number of money in your trading account. 10 pips, if you're using one lot size, that's about $100 if price moves 10 pips that you're giving away. Because if you're using one lot size, that's $10 per pip. So it could cost you a lot of money. So if you're using the extreme, you end up making more money than people that had used the easiest NB. So the extreme, just like the easy, you're going to be placing it 1 minute before the news event. Then you're just going to be managing both accounts at the same time. So the thing about this one is that if there's Hotforex and just Forex side by side, they're going to be opposite trades. Now, when the event happens, the account where you're going to see blue, that's the account you should focus on. Now, if it's blue in one account, that means obviously in the other account where there's the opposite trade, there's going to be red.
Red.
Yeah. So if you're in the account where you see blue immediately, that's the one you should focus on. Don't bother switching to the other side. Otherwise, by the time you're coming back, price would have had dropped or reversed on you. So the moment you see blue in one account, focus on that, and you're going to start closing the trades immediately. Yeah. If you're in the account where there's red and you see red immediately, like for instance, if the event is at 13:30 and you start seeing red all of a sudden, just know that in the other account where there's the opposite trade, there's going to be blue. So you close this account, then you switch to the other account. And the moment you enter the other account, you start closing the trades immediately. The reason why you're supposed to close the trades immediately is because, like I said earlier, the moment these reports are released, price reacts immediately. Now, the time the trades turn blue, it's most likely reached its maximum height or maximum depth if it's a sell. So the moment you see blue, you close immediately. I hope you're following. Yeah, so that's basically the extreme. Do you have any questions before I move on?
No questions.
Okay. For this strategy, since it requires two accounts, you're going to have to be splitting the amount of money that you plan on trading with. So for instance, if you're planning to trade $50, you're going to split that into two. or depending on your leverages for both accounts. So if your leverage is 1 to 1,000 in Hotforex and 1 to 1,000 in Just Forex, you're going to split it equally. But in your case, since the leverage for Just Forex is 1 to 3,000, and for Hotforex, it's 1 to 1,000, you're going to split them according to the leverages. So while there's a higher leverage, you're going to deposit less, obviously, which is, it's because 1 to 3,000 is 3 times greater than 1 to 1,000. So you're only going to deposit a third as compared to Hotforex, which is 1 to 1,000. I hope you're following. You're following?
Yeah.
Okay, I hope you know how to do the math to split the money. Or maybe I explain it for you.
Yeah, you can explain it. I'm writing everything down.
Okay. Okay, so to divide the money, let's say you're trading with $100. That's how much you want to plan on trading the event. What you're going to do is you're going to add up the leverages. So 1 to 3,000 plus 1 to 4,000, 1 to 1,000, which would be a total of 1 to 4,000, right? So basically what you're going to be doing is you're going to divide that $100 by 4.
Okay.
Yes. Now, since in Hotforex is 1 to 1,000, you're only going to get one of those units. So which would be $25. You've understood?
Come again?
Okay. You add up the leverages. So 1 to 3,000 plus 1 to 1,000. So it should be 4,000 in short, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you do, if 4,000 is equals to $100, what's 1,000 equals to? So you find X basically. So in this case, X is going to be $25. You're following? Yeah. So that's $25. That's what you're going to deposit in. That's what you're going to deposit in Just Forex, where there's a larger leverage, because it will have the same buying power as the $75 left in Hotforex.
Okay.
Yeah, I hope you've understood. I hope you've understood the general idea of why we're splitting.
Yes, I've understood.
Yeah. So yeah, that's how you do it. You basically just find X, then you assign them to the accounts. So where there's a larger leverage, you're obviously going to assign less money as compared to where there's a lower leverage, which would be Hotforex in that case. So Just Forex will have $25, then Hotforex is going to take $75, but they'll have the same buying power since the leverage in Just Forex is 3 times greater than Hotforex. Okay. If you have any questions on that, just ask me, then I can go much deeper, or I can give you more examples if you want.
No, I'm okay. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So that basically explains leverage. Leverage just allows you to buy more currency or hold more currency with a low amount of money. So in this case, since the leverage is 1 to 3,000 for Just Forex and 1 to 1,000 for Hotforex, with the leverage in Just Forex, you can buy 3 times the amount of what you can buy with Hotforex, which also allows you to buy the same amount of currency, but with a third of the amount. So it's a proportional thing. So yeah, that's basically what leverage is. It's just there to help you hold larger positions with a less amount of money. Yeah, we can move on.
Yeah.
Okay. Just like the EasySNB, this one has its own list of events. Now, if you can, the list of events for this one, they're basically more powerful than, or more volatile than the EasySNB. The reason why is because when those events happen, we want to get each and every pip movement. We want to maximize our profits. So for the most powerful events, we choose the most powerful strategy, which is obvious. Yeah. So this is the list of events. For the extreme, there's AUD GDP, there's NZD GDP, there's CAD employment change, then there's CAD interest rates, then there's USD NFP, USD interest rates, NZD interest rates, and so on. So just like before, I'll send you a screenshot of this. You can master it, or if you want, you can just use it as a reference. Yeah, following?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. So yeah, I'll send you a photo of this. So moving on price. What's your understanding on what price is when it comes to trading?
Price, I think, is the how much you're going to, I think, how much you're going to put in to buy or sell a certain currency.
Okay. Do you understand how to calculate movements in price?
No, no.
Okay. Movements in price are basically measured in pips. A smaller unit of pips are called points, but we don't necessarily use points. Points are too small for us to consider right now. So we're going to be focusing on pips only. So this price, this is the price of this currency here, the currency pair here, Euro USD. Now this currency is a non-JPY pair. So there's two types of prices. There's JPY pairs and non-JPY pairs. What that basically means is if the currency pair doesn't have JPY in it, the Japanese currency, it's basically a non-JPY pair. But if it's got JPY in it, that means it's a JPY pair. So yeah, those are the only two different types of prices. For this one, this is a non-JPY pair. As you can see, there's no JPY in it, only Euro USD. For non-JPY pairs, the price is going to be quoted in 5 decimal places. Then for JPY pairs, those ones are quoted in 3 decimal places. As you can see here, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 decimal places. So for non-JPY pairs, that's 5 decimal places. If a currency has JPY in it, it's going to be quoted in 3 decimal places only. Now, the thing about prices is that the last decimal place, that one is always basically useless for us because that represents pips, points. So like I said before, points are basically useless for us. So for every last decimal place, whether it's a JPY pair or a non-JPY pair, the last decimal place is going to be useless. So in this case, the 5th decimal place is basically useless for us. So when counting pips, we start from the second last decimal place here, which is this one here that's colored in green. I hope you can see it. You're following?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. So if this one becomes a 2 or a 3 rather, that means the whole price has gone up by 2 pips because we start counting from the second last decimal place. So if this one becomes a 3, that means the whole price has gone up by 2 pips.
2 pips.
So it would be 2, then a 3 there. So when it becomes a 3, that's 2 pips. That's a 2 pip increment. Same as below. If this one becomes a 0, that means the whole price has dropped by 1 pip. So pips are basically movements in price. You following?
Yeah.
Okay. So for the easiest NB, I said you're supposed to add 10 pips to each buy stop and sell stop. So that part this part is important because you need to learn how to add pips and subtract pips from different prices. So in this case, it would be a non-JPY pair. So you start subtracting from these last 2 digits here. because we always ignore the last decimal place. So we start counting from here. So if it's a buy stop and we're adding 10 pips to these two last digits here, the price is going to become 1.1171 for the buy stop. Then for subtracting, you subtract it the same way. So it's going to be 1.1151. That's the price you're going to end. That's the price that your broker is going to execute the trades for you. So yeah, that's price. Then for non-JPY pairs, I think I can give you an example from here. So as you can see, this one is a JPY pair because it has got the Japanese currency in it, USD JPY. You can see my screen?
Yes, yes, sir.
Okay. So this is USD JPY, and this is the price over here. So as you can see, it's quoted in 3 decimal places. So that's how all JPY pairs are. They're quoted in 3 decimal places. Now, just like a non-JPY pair, we're going to be ignoring the last decimal place because that's where pips are. That's the reason why it's in a small. It's smaller than the other pips here. It's basically useless for us. So when it comes to adding pips, we only focus on the second last decimal place here. That's where pips begin. That's how I start counting pips from. So in this case, if you want to add 10 pips to this price, you're going to put the 1 above here, and you're going to put the 0 above the 9 here. So when it comes to adding, the price is going to be 110.29. That's the price that you're going to enter the trade for a buy stop. Then for subtracting, you're going to place the 10 below. Then the price is going to be 110.09. So that's the price that's going to be, that's the price that you're going to enter the trade for a sell stop. So yeah, that's how you calculate, that's how you add and subtract pips for JPY pairs. Do you have any questions?
No.
Okay. Yeah, I think we can move on now, unless you wanted me to repeat something from price.
No, everything's clear.
Okay. Okay, so this app that you'll be using, this is MetaTrader 4. I bet it looks familiar to you.
Yeah.
Okay. So when you first open the application, you'll be brought to this part of the app. Here is where you select the currency pair to trade with. Now, if you want to pick a currency pair and it's not here, it's not amongst this list here, what you can do is just click on the plus button here. Then it's going to show you a bunch of folders that you can look through. Then when you find the currency pair that you want to add to the home button, the home screen here, just simply tap on it and come back here, and you're going to see it pop up here. So yeah, if you add a new currency pair, just click there, look through the folders, tap on the currency pair, and it's going to show up here. So this is the code section of the app. The next section is the chart section. This one isn't really important for us fundamental traders because we don't trade according to how the candlesticks form here. It's basically just for us to see how far price has moved during a news event in real time. But it's basically, it takes away your attention a bit because you're supposed to be focused on this part of the app. Sorry, just hold on. On this part of the app here, where you're able to see your profit and your loss. So yeah, the chart section is not really important for us. It might take away your attention because you're supposed to be focused on here. Then the moment the trade turns blue, you start closing immediately. Yeah, following?
Yes, yes.
Okay. So this is the trade section of the app. This is where you go to see how your trades are doing and to place new trades. So assuming you want to place a new trade, we'll just click on this button here that looks like a SIM card with a plus inside it. When you click on it, you're going to be taken to this page. Here is where you now start executing your trades from. So we're assuming we're starting with the easiest NB. That's what we want to execute. We're going to click up here. Then we're going to be presented with the drop-down menu. Now from this menu, we're only going to be focusing on the last two options here, which is buy stop and sell stop. So for starters, we're going to click on buy stop. Then we're going to be brought to this section here. Now on this part, we're only going to be focusing on the lot size part and the part where you specify when you want to enter a trade, which is the price part here. So just remember that. So the lot size and the prices here, that's what we focus on. So assuming our lot size is lot size 1, that's what we want to trade with. We'll leave it just like that. Then we're going to move on to the price. Now for a buy stop, the price that we're going to focus on is the price in red here. I hope you can see it. So we get this price in red, then we add 10 pips to it. So as you can see, it's coded in 5 decimal places. So I'm going to ignore the last decimal place, which is the 6 here. Then when adding the 10 pips, we're going to start adding from here. So to add 10 pips to this, the price is going to be 1.1781. So that 1.1781, we get it, we come back here on price, then we're going to paste it here. Then the moment we're done pasting, we come immediately and we place the order without hesitation. Now, the reason why we skip the stop loss, the take profits, and the expression is so that we can save time. Because each of these require you to calculate when you want to exit the trade and when you want to take a profit, which might take more time. Like I said before, you're supposed to be executing these trades 1 minute before the news event. Now, if you add the stop loss and the take profit and the expiration, and only for the buy stop, you're supposed to do the same thing for the sell stop as well. So at the end of the day, you find out you've taken more than 1 minute to calculate everything. So that's the reason why we only focus on the lot size and price, then we immediately place the orders. Right?
Yes.
Yeah. So that's buy stop. So buy stop, just remember that we focus on the price in red, which is the ask price. Then for sell stop, we focus on the bid price, which is the opposite. So yeah, after placing the buy stop, we immediately start executing the sell stop. So we select sell stop, then we keep the lot size the same as the buy stop, which in this case is to be lot size 1. Then we're going to come down here, we get that number. Then from this, we get the bid price. Then from this number, we're going to be subtracting 10 pips from it. So just like before, we're going to be ignoring the last decimal place, which is the 8 here. So when we subtract 10 pips, we'll be focusing on the last 2 decimal places here, which is the 6 and the 9. So when you subtract 10 pips, it will be 1.1759. Then that number that we've come up with, we go to price, then we're going to place it here. Then the moment we're done with that, we immediately place the order here. Yeah, following? Yeah, so just like below, we're going to be ignoring the stop loss, take profit, expiration. We're only going to be focusing on the lot size and the price. That's all. So for sell stop, that's bid price. Then for a buy stop, you focus on the ask price here. So yeah, after they're done placing both of those, we come on the trade section, then you're going to notice only one is going to get triggered because price is going to trigger one only. So for instance, if it's going to trigger the sell stop, it's going to look like this. When it turns blue, you start closing immediately. So you start by closing the one that's active first, then the other one that's not active. So in this case, if the sell stop was one that was triggered, the buy stop is one that's going to remain pending, waiting for price to reach its trigger price, which is the price that we entered before. So yeah, you close the one that's active first, then you close the one that's pending. So you do this, immediately price turns blue. The moment you start seeing blue everywhere, you start closing them. So yeah, that's basically the easy SNB. So all this is supposed to be done 1 minute before the news event. But if you can do it even 10 seconds before the news event, that will be better for you because you get to skip most of the spread increments when before a news event happens. So yeah, the sooner you can do it, the better it will be for you.
Okay. So I have a question.
Yes, go ahead.
So why can't you place the buy stop or sell stop maybe even 5 minutes before?
The reason why is because within those 5 minutes to the news event, price is still moving. It doesn't stop moving. So we want it to be triggered by the news event. For instance,
Okay.
the event is happening at 13:30. We want it to be triggered by the movements at 13:30, not during the 5 minutes before 13:30. That's the reason why.
Okay.
Yeah. So the sooner you can do it, the better. But 1 minute should be the limit. You shouldn't go beyond that.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. Do you have any questions?
Oh, okay. So since you said for buy stop, you follow the what is the number in what is in red, right?
Yeah.
And then you add 10 pips to that. So which is like you add 10 to the what is the third and the fourth number here.
Yes.
You add 10 pips. So since these prices move, how exactly do you add that 10 pips?
I are supposed to do it quickly. Or if you want, rather than copying the number here while it's still moving, you could just click on the plus here. Then it's going to get a number for you here.
Okay.
Then at that number is when you can add 10 pips.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. For sell stop, you do the opposite. You click on the minus here. Because when you click on the minus, it's going to get the lower number here, which is down in blue.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. For the moving on to the extreme SNB, for that one, we don't use buy stops and sell stops, obviously, because we don't want to enter the trade in the future. What we do is we select the first option here. Now with Hotforex and Just Forex, it's not going to show instant execution. It's going to show market execution. So the first option is one you're going to be using in both accounts, both the Hotforex and the Just Forex. So we start with the Just Forex account. We click on instant execution. Then here we're only going to be focusing on the lot size. So if you want to trade with lot size 1, we put lot size 1 here, then we immediately place a sell or a buy. Then for instance, if we placed a sell in Just Forex, that means in Hotforex, we're going to maintain the same lot size, but we're going to place a buy this time, which is the opposite trade.
Okay.
Yeah, so for the extreme SNB, we only focus on the lot size, then we immediately place a buy or a sell. Just like the easy SNB, we ignore the stop loss, take profits, and the deviation here, because it might take time from us. Yeah, so Hotforex, you place a buy, then in Just Forex, you place a sell. You are following?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so just like before, if you're in the account where you start seeing blue immediately, just focus on that one. Because obviously in the other account where there's the opposite trade, it's going to be red. But if you're in the account where it starts out in red, obviously it's going to be blue in the other account. So you close that account, then you switch to the other side. Then when you switch to the other side where it's blue, you start closing the trades immediately. Don't worry about the other account, because what you've lost in the other account is going to be recovered in the account where there's profit plus more on top because of leverage.
Okay.
Actually, that's the reason why when it comes to placing these trades, we only trade with accounts with a leverage of 1 to 1,000 going up. If it's less than 1 to 1,000, you might not cover the amount that's been lost in the losing account. So yeah, your leverage has to be very favorable. If you want to take this to the extreme, you could ask one of your friends to register another Just Forex account for you, which also has 1 to 3,000. So you'll be using your Just Forex account and your friend's Just Forex account, which allows you to milk the markets even more with a low amount of money.
Okay.
Yeah. So that part is really up to you. So yeah, that's the easy and extreme SNB. Do you have any questions?
No questions.
Okay. Just give me a second before I move on. Okay. Okay, so the last thing I wanted to talk about was this investing.com. You said the one on your phone finished installing, right?
Yeah.
Okay, are you able to open it right now?
Yeah, it's open.
Okay, so just click on calendar.
Okay.
You've done that?
Yeah.
Okay, so in the calendar page, there's going to be an icon besides the search icon. It looks like a funnel.
Yeah.
Just that. Then on that page that it has brought up, I want you to uncheck low and medium.
All right.
Yeah, so what you're telling the app to do by doing that is it should only show you high impact news events with 3 bulls.
Yeah.
Now, what this does for you is it will only be showing you events that have 3 bulls, that have high impact or high volatility in the app from now on. Now, in as much as it's going to be showing you high impact news events, amongst those same high impact news events, there's a ranking. That's where those screenshots come in, where, sorry, let me just open the screenshots. That's where these lists come in. So amongst the list of high impact news events, these are the most impactful news events. So CAD GDP, and so on. So there's this list, and there's the list for the extreme SNB here. Now, the reason why you're going to be installing investing.com is to know when exactly they're going to be happening. So if we can go back to the screenshot from investing.com. Yeah, when you go back to the calendar, you can see what events happened yesterday, what events happened today, what events are going to happen tomorrow. Then it will give you an overview of the whole week and next week. So basically, you can see when exactly they're going to happen. For instance, this one here, core durable goods orders, it happened at 14:30 and so on. So if we're going to be trading this news event, we get the time, which would be 14:30 in this case, then 1 minute before, which would be 14:29. That's when we're going to start placing the orders. So yeah, that's how this application will help you out. It just tells you when the events are going to be. And yeah, it gives you more details like that. I hope you're following.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, one question that you might be asking later on is, how do you pick a currency pair? So for instance, if we're going to be trading this one here, AUD retail sales. That event is happening in Australia because of the currency here, AUD. Now, what I usually do is I get that currency, in this case to be AUD, then I'm going to pair it with USD. So for this news event, I'll be trading AUD USD because I've paired it with USD. The reason why is because USD is USD. It's the largest currency, it's the currency that's used the largest in the world. So yeah, more people are going to have access to it. You're following?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's for news events that happen in countries apart from the US. Now for an event where it's happening in the US and it already has USD in it, how do you pick a currency pair? What I usually do is I get a list of news events. Let me just do this. Okay, assuming we're trading USD GDP, now we want to pick a currency pair. We're just going to go back to the code section, on MetaTrader 4. So all these currencies have USD in them. All these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They all have USD in them. So we could use either one of them. But how I pick a currency pair is by looking at their spreads here. So USD JPY has a spread of 22 or 2 pips. Then USD CAD has a spread of 27. This one has a spread of 23. This one 37. This one 19. So when it comes to picking a currency pair, I'm going to pick the one with the lowest spread here. Spread is basically just the commission that you pay your broker. So the larger the spread, basically the larger the commission you're paying. And the larger the commission, obviously, the longer it take you to enter into profitability. So yeah, just pick the currency pair with the least amount of spread here. Yeah, I've understood. Yeah, this is only for events with USD in them that happen in the US. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Unless you've got questions on any slide that we've gone through.
No questions.
Okay. For Android users, I usually tell them to download an app called Google Clock. What it does is it shows the amount of seconds alongside the time. So for this, it shows the seconds for 10 hours. What it basically does is it shows you the amount of seconds that are left for the news event to happen. So it helps you keep track of how many seconds are left with. Now for iPhone, I don't know what app you can use. I don't know if the clock has seconds. Does your default clock have seconds?
Yes, it does.
Okay, if it does, then you can just use that. Then for Android users, I don't download this app. So yeah, that's basically it. Do you have any questions? Because we've covered everything that you need to know.
No questions.
Okay. All right then. Like I said earlier, this session was being recorded, so I'm going to upload it to my YouTube channel. Then I'll send you a link when it's done uploading. Yeah. Then whenever you have any questions or concerns, you can just let me know on WhatsApp. Then I can arrange another session for you.
Okay. All right.
Okay. So yeah, that's basically it, Chikondi. I hope everything has sunk in.
Yeah.
Okay. All right then. You have a good night. Then I'll upload this and send you a link.
All right. Thank you.
You're welcome.